Hello everyone and welcome once again to Just for Men Footy Flashbacks. Today, by popular demand, we take you back to round 20 1981. Indeed, it was a classic encounter played in the heyday of suburban footy between Carlton and Essendon. Both teams had new coaches. David Parkin had moved across to Carlton after a stint at Hawthorn, while Kevin Sheedy was the new boy in charge at Windy Hill. It didn't start so well either for Sheeds, with the Bombers losing 5 of their first 6. But by August, they are on the rise, having strung together 13 wins on the trot. Princes Park, the Carlton fortress, was packed to the rafters for this greatly anticipated match. Neil Kearney is at the home of the Blues, and to help him relive it all, he's with 2 key men involved on the day, Neil Danaher and David Parkin.
Today we're going back to August 17th, 1981. David Parkin, you were in your first year as coach of Carlton.
I remember the time very well, and it was our first period with the Kevin Sheedy, David Parkin, I think, contest over a long period that evolved out of that time.
Neil Danaher, you were a strapping young 20-year-old, and it was Sheed's first year as coach.
Yes, it was. It didn't start too well. I can't recall all that closely the whole year, but I know we started poorly. We may have lost 5 or 6 in a row. And
Sheeds even threatened to pull the boots on at one stage.
He did. I'm not sure how serious he was, but we said, well, we've got to put up with this bloke off the field. We don't want him on the field as well. So we actually got on a bit of a roll after that. I think coming into this game, we might have won 12 or 13 on a trot.
1981, David, it was the height of suburban Saturday afternoon Melbourne footy. I mean, the middle of the ground was a bit of a dunghill. The terraces were packed. There was a fight in the crowd. Do you miss those grand old days?
Oh, I think particularly related to this particular ground here where we are today, I think it was the real home of suburban football, and they would have packed probably 30 or 32,000 people into this ground. No one would believe that in this day and age. And of course, we're playing on a surface plush as it is today. It was fairly ordinary on that day, particularly in the middle, and I think the players actually played, other than where the bounce-ups there, they went to the flanks to play the game.
Now, Neil, just on that fight, I've had a look at the last quarter, as David did just last night. People at home watching, just have a listen to Lou Richards on his comments about the fight and how things have changed. Political correctness has changed a lot of the commentary. Just tune in when Lou Richards makes a comment.
I wonder now if we'd cut to the shot of the bloke being walked away with his hand over his nose like that. But there were some great on-field clashes that day, weren't there? Bruce Dool on Terry Danaher.
Ashman, yeah, well, that at the finish, I think Bruce, we moved him on. Maybe it was a bit late. We moved Bruce onto him. And to give this young fella in those days a bit of kudos, I think Dool was the most competent defender that I've had the privilege of coaching. And he took 2 classical marks towards the finish against Bruce Dool, which says something for this man's ability.
Oh, one was a chest mark, David. So
dropped short.
Yeah, dropped short. But it was one of the good parts of watching it again was the teammates' memories of playing with Van der Haar and Watson and Madden and Rotten Ronnie Andrews and Tony Bahajar and Neil Clark, who has sadly passed away. It's just great memories to watch.
Simon Madden down
at fullback.
He's playing fullback on David Mackay.
A masterstroke from the great coach David Parkin to get the great Simon Madden, Essendon's best ruckman for 50 years, to fullback. That was a masterstroke.
Well, I should take some kudos that I cannot believe Sheeds left him there for as long as he did. But in fact, he almost saved the game when you look back at that.
He played it pretty well.
And yet the best ruckman on the ground, or the best player on the ground, was Mike Fitzpatrick, who we should all be praiseworthy of, seeing he's now the boss of the AFL.
The chairman.
And he played a lot on, I think, Maxi Crow.
Yeah, and a young Roger Merritt. He was giving young Roger Merritt just a few lessons on how to ruck, and I reckon Roger would have took a lot out of that game. He was very good, Fitzpatrick, but we know Roger turned into a very good ruckman and centre-half forward as well. He
was very good, Neil, until the final stage. We're not jumping ahead there, but until he...
No, keep the suspense.
All right, keep the suspense on that one.
The third quarter, Peter Bazzasto playing on a half-forward flank. You had Wayne Johnson on the other half-forward flank and Mark McClure at centre half-forward. It wasn't a bad half-forward line.
It was a terrific one, Neil, and I went back and had a look at in retrospect, I wrote the report afterwards. I don't think Buzz touched the ball at all until the third quarter. He was absolutely dynamic in the third quarter and showed what a great team player. He was a terrific player without the ball. He was a great chaser down, and he flipped a few hand passes out, which scored goals as well, which we probably don't give him. We think about his great marks and his fantastic agility, but he was a great team player too.
At three-quarter time, then Carlton are 14 points up.
And going with the Bruce.
And you've been moved up forward, having played in defence all game?
Yeah, look, we all know about Kevin and his flexibility with his players. I think he brought that to the game, shifting plays. It wasn't uncommon for Essendon under Sheedy to move players from backline. I started in the backline and then was moved ruck rover forward. And that's probably one of the things that Kevin brought to the game in the early 80s. He was just shifting players around and, I went forward.
And you're 14 points in front at three-quarter time. You're kicking with the wind in the last quarter. Would have been lovely up in the box with a Milo and perhaps a packet of Ice Vovos. Very relaxing last quarter, as you remember it?
Well, I think they got the first from memory, and then we seemed to get one every time they did. They went forward, a couple of big marks. I think Van der Haar took a big mark, Merritt took a big mark. But each time they did, we were able to go almost immediately forward and kick a goal. So I never thought that we'd be challenged.
That's the time to throw to our commentators, the great Lou Richards and, of course, Peter Landy.
And on Seven's big league, it's 14 points the difference going into the final term here at Princes Park before a capacity crowd, and what a game it's been. Merritt and Fitzpatrick. Merritt got that one out, although Fitzpatrick's done pretty well in the ruck right throughout the day. Lenahan chasing it and tries to get it into the open. Reid. And umpire Sauls has decided to come in and ball it up. Been a great match. Lead changed repeatedly in the first three quarters. Carlton got the break and led at one stage by 29 points during the third term. Merritt and Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick got it down. Tries to find Markazani. On the bottom of that lot, I think, is Bahajar, who has got a push in the back. It's Fowler, is it? Yes, Fowler. Hawker. So Hawker is at left half back. Looks for Crow, couldn't find him. Southby can't get boot to ball. On the shoulder, says the umpire, and free kick to Southby, who in turn goes for the handball to Wayne Harms, who's played well in the back pocket for Carlton today. Again goes wide towards the flank, and Hawker taking the mark. Hawker, right on centre wing, decides to go for the short one. Bahajar chipping it and taking it. Didn't really gain much, although of course they still have possession. Importantly, Bahajar's kick likewise isn't a long one. Van der Haar was the flyer. Ball booted out eventually towards Sheldon. Sheldon's kick in turn towards centre field. Mark missed out there by Lenahan, is it? Can't do much about that. Tries to knock it over to his teammate. McClure's there. Picked up by Reid. Reid puts Essendon into attack and getting underneath it to take the mark, Bahajar.
Bahajar nearly off. Umpire's call, play on. It'll be a free kick against him. A good decision by the umpire that time. When he took the mark, he didn't look around. It'll be a 15-metre penalty. It's no good doing your block. 14 points the difference. And Carlton at one stage in that third quarter were 29 points in front, and the Bombers pegged them back. Andrews missed that one completely, going for the knock. Tapped out by Buckley. The ball comes back there to Hawker. That's a shocking kick off the side of his boot. Coming in to meet it now is Thompson. He's having a juggling match. A hand pass to Reid. He gets a kick, a short one back there towards Fold and Dool. Dool's the one to win the race for the ball, but he can't pick it up. Not a great day for Dool either. Hand pass from Mail and over to Johnson. The ball back there towards that half forward line. And we see Madden coming out, playing at full back at the moment, trying to cope with Mackay. Mackay goes down. He's got one, and now it's going to be a free kick there to Essendon. It'll be Stoneham, who's played a fairly good game today. Short pass, and Foles has got the mark on the centre wing position. We've seen a great display of ruck play by Fitzpatrick. He's been magnificent at the ruck. For a guy that's got a broken bone in the left hand, he's certainly been firing here today and played a real captain's game. There we see the ball driven up that time by Watson. Over the centre half forward position, Van der Haar flies. Got the mark. No, he's not playing it. He said play on, and fair enough. Ball comes back there towards Reid. Reid running an open goal. Fires at the goals, and what's the result? It could be through. It's a goal. And now it's only 8 points the difference.
Just the one Essendon wanted.
11-6-72 Carlton to Essendon 9-10-64.
Thompson transfers it to centre half forward. Van der Haar gets there a little bit too late, and the chance is now for English to pick the ball up from the back pocket, which he does. He's been very safe down there, English, today. Hunter, always a consistent player for Carlton, and Hunter now tries the short pass. Picked up by Bazasto, who gives it to Lenahan. Terry Danaher right on his hammer. Free kick for in the shoulder or on the head. Call it as you will. He's a long way out from goal. Couldn't possibly score from there, Lenahan. But he'll certainly make things interesting as he puts the ball on its way now. Madden gets up and takes the mark in the back pocket.
Good mark to Madden down there in the back pocket position. The Bombers have been desperate today. Mackay kicked 4 goals in the first half, and they had to shift Madden down. I don't know if it was a good move or not. It could be a negative one. As we see Neil Danaher go for a pass, it's okay. And he's found Nagel there at half-back. Actually, a little short of half-back. Well, it's only 8 points the difference in favour of Carlton. That's a shocking kick and a mark there to Mail. And as Peter said before, a very quiet player in that first half. He was really swamped by fouls, but he's been shifted onto the other wing. Ball back there now towards Bazasto. This could be dangerous. Goes for a one off the ground. Coming in to meet it now is Nagel. Picks it up nicely. Runs into trouble. He hand passes to Wells. He's kicked the goal. Oh, golly, what a mistake. He's knocked him down. Nagel knocked Bazasto down.
Sensible.
Oh, golly, I suppose he was frustrated after making the mistake. It was a bad blue too.
7 minutes gone, final term. 78 plays 64 in favour of Carlton.
Ball back there towards Bahajar. He's grabbed too high and he'll get a free kick. So it's 14 points the difference now in favour of Carlton. And as I said before, they had a 29-point lead in that third quarter. Ball kicked up there towards centre half forward. There's English trying to get clear. Well, Eustace taking too long. Ball picked up by Clark, back to Bahajar. They're messing about. Essendon not playing with any confidence at all. A short pass out wide. Going after it now is Eustace. He does a bit of feint. Oh, it's Thompson, I should say. Running to an open goal, fires, but he'll be off target. And it's through for 1 point. So it's 13 points the difference. And that's how many games Essendon have won in a row. 13 up till today, but it could be the end of their run, the way Carlton are playing. 78 plays 65. Ball back into play again. Out there towards centre half back. McClure there, punched away by the Essendon defence. Back it goes to Vanderhaar, overruns the ball. Oh, Watson comes out of the pack with the ball now, runs back into trouble, but his strength tries to get him out of it. But they pounce and they won't let him get away. Carlton playing in desperation at the moment, and the umpire's going to ball it up out there towards the centre half forward position for Essendon.
And Carlton showing a little bit more desperation than Essendon at the moment as Watson tries to put his boot back on. Last quarter in progress, 8.5 minutes as we have this ball up at left half forward. Essendon in attack, knocked down by Fitzpatrick. Goes to Sheldon. Sheldon's well shepherded. Racing forward out there is Johnston. Stoneham gets there first. Couldn't take the mark. Lenihan late on the scene, but it will be a boundary throw-in on that half-forward flank on the outer side of the ground. 65 to 78 in favour of Carlton. Merritt. Bahajar. Grab. Too high or not? Free kick to Bahajar, who seems to get grabbed too high more than any other player playing. There's not much of him, that's why. Essendon out of danger through Andrews. Not a long kick. Ashman, good mark. Ashman is on centre wing.
Making little mistakes, Essendon, Peter. They look a little slow when they're trying to break away from the packs.
Carlton a little bit more professional at the moment.
No doubt about that.
Mackay is right in the centre of the ground. But this guy, one of the best kicks in league football, and just as I say that, he kicks into the man on the mark, but he hasn't made too many mistakes today, David Mackay. Bazasto doing a little bit of sorting out as we see again a ball up to take place only about 4 or 5 metres from the circle. Knocked down by Fitzpatrick. Madden, I'd like to see him back in the ruck if Essendon are going to have a chance. Harms collides with English. Picked up by Watson and well played, but well tackled by Bruce Gould. English over to Harms. Carlton very professional in defence, although it doesn't bounce too well for Wayne Harms. Tackled by Thompson or Eustace. Picked up by Neil Danaher. Likewise tackled well by Hunter. A snapshot for goal for Essendon by Eustace is off target, but it will be a free kick. And it will be taken by Neil Danaher, I think. Yes, it is. Danaher to get the free kick. You can see the angle. The goals are about, or goal is about, well, let's see, 20 metres, 30 metres out. This would be a very valuable one for Essendon as Neil Danaher lines it up. 35 metres from goal, in he comes. Fires, it looks okay. Is it? Yes, I think it's through. By the skin of his teeth. Last quarter, Sevens big league, 11 minutes gone, final term.
Fitzpatrick once again, punched away by Andrews, back towards Marcazani. Couldn't get out of the pack. There's Wells trying to get it out to McClure. He does. Down it goes there towards the full forward position. Picked up by Madden. He goes down, they collar him. Holding the ball against him. Watch him get up and go mad about this. Well, they fall on the ball. They must expect the consequences. It seems to be the go today. Fall on the ball and smother it and hope to God the umpire balls it up. But Robertson wasn't falling for it then. So a chance now for Johnson to kick goal number 1. Fires, and he has put it through for a goal. So at the 12.5-minute mark, we see Carlton going in front again by 13 points. 13-6-84 Carlton to Essendon, 10-11-71.
I agree with your comments, Lou. I don't think there was much else umpire Robertson could do. Madden was tackled well, and he seemed to hold the ball well for a fortnight, really.
Well, it seems to be the go with players today to get themselves out of top. When they run into trouble, they fall on top of the ball and expect the umpire to ball it up. And it doesn't work out every time. And the more the umpires do this, it'll stop the players from using those tactics.
And hunting in packs, which certainly doesn't add to the game's spectacle. And by and large, a good decision by umpire Robinson. Sevens big league action from Princes Park. Now 13 points the difference.
Fitzpatrick against Merritt again. Fitzpatrick again. Got it down to Bazzasto. In a bit of trouble there. Can't get out of the pack. And then we see a free kick. It'll go to Terry Danner. He's been one of the Bombers' best players today.
Probably their best, Lou.
I would say so. Been a very consistent player. He's got to go and kick back over the mark. A little short of centre field. Oh, that's a kick. Doesn't help very much. There's Nagel taking the mark. There's a bit of a wrestle going on behind play, but the umpire's letting it go on as Nagel kicks it back over centre half forward. Hunter drops the mark and ricochets off the pack. Going through his duel, he gets a throw out actually, back to Buckley, back there to Wells, and Carlton take the ball away from the danger zone. Coming in to meet it now is Terry Danaher, the guy we were talking about. Oh, he ran back into Bazzasto. It could have been a free kick. Aspin's grabbed, down he goes. How about that for tackling? Another one. And down goes Bazzasto. The umpire letting play go on as Ronnie Andrews gets the ball. Stand clear as he kicks it out wide to Timmy Watson. Will he get there on time? He's on his own. He's got a paddock to run in here. He decides to go for a bit of a bounce. Merritt met Johnson, went down. Now Timmy Watson, a hand pass, back over there. Back to Stoneham, back to Watson. Another hand pass back. And there we see the ball coming out wide, picked up by Stoneham again. And shot down towards the Essendon half-forward line, but Harms is there. Oh, he dropped the sitter. Now he's in trouble, he's grabbed. Ball goes back to Vanderhaag, weaving his way through the pack on the boundary line, running to the goals. Will he kick it? He better hurry up. A long hand pass over there to Reid. Reid's in trouble, fires, he's missed it. He's missed it. I thought Vanderhaag would have fired that time from the boundary line. Would have been a better go, I'd reckon. So it's 13-6-84 Carlton to Western, 10-12-72. What a game it is.
Well, Vanderhaag certainly didn't have the angle in his favour, so seeing Reid in a better position, although under pressure, he gave it to him. As it turned out, it didn't work out. Bad kick by Harms. It goes to Buckley. Buckley just short of the centre half back position. Puts it towards the outer side. Well, they all missed that one. Maybe the sun was in their eyes, something we're not used to at this time of the year. Nagel to Stoneham. Watson on the move at half forward. Well called by Johnston. Duel. Misplaced handball, but it goes to Malin. Into the open spaces now in the press box ring. See who can pick it up first. It's out of bounds before Neil Clark can get there. And a boundary throw-in right on centre ring.
I think it proves the point that Timmy Watson's not that fit, not 100%. He usually streaks away from those things, Peter.
He was under a cloud earlier in the week, that's right, Lou. Fitzpatrick was likewise and has infringed or will get the free kick.
Best player on the ground by a mile, this guy today.
Especially his first half. That's a beautiful kick. Torpedo punt kick. Should be more of them. Bazzasto and Terry Danaher tangle. And the free kick will be Bazzasto's, but you can't do that, Peter. He has to go back and take the kick from left half forward. Now he's seen Malin, who made position well. Malin's clear of Andrews, fires, and that's a goal. Doesn't play to leave your man. 16 minutes have now gone in the final quarter. 3 goals the difference. Can Carlton hang on as the ball is bounced again? Crowe and Fitzpatrick neither get it effectively away from the circle. Crowe tries the backhander. Carlton go forward again. Here's Bazzasto once more. Gathers it in at left half forward. Hotly pursued by Stoneham. But he gets it back to Johnston, who fires and hit the post. And that would have been the winning goal, I'd reckon, because it would have put Essendon 4 goals down. As it is, they're 19 points in arrears. That could be enough. 91-72. Terry Danaher does the kicking in. Crowe is the flyer. Lenahan at the back. Goes to Buckley. Wells has a pot shot from 35 metres out. It's dropping short. Mark taken by Terry Danaher. Hawker, good balk. Gets Essendon out of trouble, momentary perhaps. Duel, cannons into the back of his opponent. Off the ground from Harms, past Buckley. Hawker again, getting a lot of possessions on that wing. Buckley tackles him, but it's too late. Marcazani, right on centre wing, tries the short pass. Okay, Wells looks for Fitzpatrick. Bounce doesn't favour the skipper at all, but he's good enough to pick it up. He's right on the boundary line though. Will try and put it high into the 10-metre square, looking for Johnston. Johnston and Stoneham. Johnston tries to kick it off the carpet. In the meantime, a whistle is gone. Free kick to Stoneham.
Stoneham to take that kick down there at the full-back position. 91 points, Carlton to Essendon 72. About 17 minutes gone of this last quarter. That's a bad kick. Too long there for Terry Danaher. Comes into meter. He gets one from Bazasto. Bazasto goes after it again. They pile on top of him and they'll ball it up at centre half forward. No, there's no doubt about it. Bazasto certainly lifted his game since...
There's a fight in the crowd down in front of us, Lou.
Well, that's not bad either. Oh, well. Let him go. Back to the game now as we see Bahajar trying to pick it up. He runs into Johnson, loses the ball actually. Picked up by Reid. A hurried kick back there, but too many Carlton players there and a good mark taken there by Harms. Only 2 players down there on the Essendon forward line. The rest are up there over the half forward line. Back it goes. Essendon players spawning each other there. It's picked up here now by Sheldon. A snap for goal. This is coming around enough. It's 1 point. Well, the score at the moment, 14-8-92 Carlton to Essendon 10-12-72, and the fight down in front of us quietened down.
One guy's got a blood nose.
You usually get that when you get into a fight if you can't handle yourself. Simon Madden, the ball tapped down again, pushed on by Sheldon. Terry Danaher, no doubt Essendon's best player down there at half-back. Gets around Mackay, another hand pass coming over here. Oh, round the neck. And that's would be a free kick to his brother as the ball is finally kicked up there, but there's too many Carlton defenders here. English having a bit of trouble picking this up, but now he's clear of the hand pass over to Wayne Harms. And they're backing up. Down goes Wayne Harms from Bahajar. In comes Wells at centre field. Taps the ball nicely over to Marcazani. Another one back to Buckley. And they've got the Bombers rattling at the moment as the ball goes up there towards McClure. It's nearly a goal. There's a goal. What a beautiful goal by Buckley. And they pick him up. Look, they're happy about that. And of course, they've given the Bombers a lesson experience here today. No doubt about that.
20 minutes now gone in the final quarter from Princes Park as the clock ticks away. Essendon really do have the job in front of them now as the ball back into the centre. Crowe and Fitzpatrick. Crowe wins that one out. Nagel couldn't take it on the way through for Essendon. Neil Danaher comes out with it, gives it to his brother Terry. Under pressure. Out it goes to Eustace from Schultz. High towards full forward. Out comes Merritt. Carlton defence has been very, very good though today. Reid. Handball down towards Danaher again. Neil Danaher shoots at goal, well off target and goes through for only 1 point.
That was a disappointing miss, Neil.
Very strategic, as we'll see. That point was very, very important.
David, you're 5 goals up still. There's 10 minutes to play. You've got the win. Essendon wouldn't have a chance.
Yeah, and I think we're going to win it by 10.
10?
Very cocky they were at three-quarter time. I looked across.
Well, let's see how the last 10 minutes unfolds.
So Essendon have got to kick 5 goals in the space of around about 10 minutes to win the match without Carlton scoring. Mark taken out there for Essendon by Eustace. Kicks it back whence it came. Plenty of Carlton players in the square. Merritt flies and has brought it down. Had the run in. Well, Merritt has not scored a goal for Essendon so far today.
I suppose it's about 10 or 11 minutes to go, Peter.
Maybe 10 at the outside, I reckon, Luke. The way Essendon are playing, though, they won't be able to get up. That's a goal, so that brings them 6 points closer. Merritt's first goal. And there we see one of the combatants being taken away, and that was the man that suffered the broken nose. There's plenty of him, but...
he's not sunbaking, I'll tell you that. He's had his shirt ripped off.
He's lost his shirt and his dignity as well. 79 plays 98 now in Sevens Big League. Final term at Princes Park in progress, 22 minutes.
Centre bounce again. 17 points in favour of Carlton. Crowe got the knockout. There we see Aspen getting the ball out of the pack towards that half-forward line. Nearly a mark to Fowler. There we see Johnson messing about, going for a hand pass out to McClure. It's intercepted that time by Andrews. Back to Johnson again. He ran into two of them that time and dropping the ball. Didn't have much chance, Johnson. We see Stone take the free kick at centre-half back. He's played a fairly good game too. Over to Nagel. Nagel's clear at centre-half back. A hand pass coming over here now to Terry Danaher. Oh, round the neck again. At least Buckley stopped him. And, of course, about 2 minutes ago, we saw Buckley kicking a magnificent goal from about 65 metres out. He and Nagel having a few words there. There's a long hand pass coming over there to Fowler on the centre wing position, right on the edge of the square. A long kick up there towards the full forward position. Oh, Van der Haar's got it.
Great mark.
And he's only about 15 metres out from goal, directly in front. And, of course, if he kicks this, it'll make the difference 11 points, and they're back in there with a chance again.
Got to kick it yet, Luke.
Well, he's got to kick it, and the pressure on Van der Haar. Golly, you wouldn't have given him a chance 5 minutes ago the way Carlton were playing, would you, Pete?
No, certainly wouldn't.
Kicked by Van der Haar. Another goal, 11 points the difference. And we approach the 23-minute mark. 15-8-98 to Essendon, 12-13-85.
Well, still in there with the chance.
13 points, Pete, I'm sorry.
Still in there with the chance, that's right. 13 points the difference, and we've probably got, I would reckon, looking at the clock, about 6.5 minutes left for play. Assuming that we can get a 30-minute quarter in, there's still time for Essendon to win it. 13 points the difference. Approaching the time-on period, knocked down to Sheldon. Sheldon's long kick up towards full forward. Mackay in front. Madden goes for the punch. Here's Johnston, but he gets collared pretty quickly. Essendon defenders descend upon him. Stowed him in there, but the umpire has decided to ball it up. And that ball up will take place only about 15 metres out from goal. What a great match this has been from start to finish. Madden does the ruck work. Down to Bazasto, though. Bazasto snaps for goal. It won't be a score. Fold's getting underneath it and knocks the ball clear of his Carlton opponent. It gives the chance out there to Crow to pick the ball up. To Reid, well tackled by Lenihan, drops the ball and will be free kicked. Lenihan from the right half forward flank will put Carlton back into attack again. He's gone for the short pass to Ashman, and Ashman doesn't let him down and takes the mark. Very good player today, Rod Ashman. Certainly wouldn't have done his Brownlow prospect any harm at all by his performance today. 20 kicks under any circumstances, good football. Ashman about 45 metres out on the angle, fires at goal. Won't quite make the distance, knocked away by Terry Danaher, past Watson and goes to Fold, this time in front of Lenihan. Around the boundary line it goes. A mark taken for Essendon. Hawker. Centre wing, knocked down by Southby. Harms, back to Southby. Carlton cool in the crisis. That's a real high ball, that one. Bazasto flies it, but he took off before nominations. Tackles his opponent, but he didn't have the ball. That was Bahajar. Goes to Nagel. Nagel over the top of McClure. Not good handball. Andrews has had a quiet day. Back to Nagel. The Bombers are alike now. They've got to score pretty quickly. Nagel to the right half forward flank. Fitzpatrick in the front of the pack on his own. Takes the mark. I don't think that did his hand much good either. But cool in the crisis, Mike Fitzpatrick will go back for the kick and is going to take plenty of time. Why shouldn't he? Under a crowd, and he's probably been the best man on the ground. He's taking it off him for wasting time.
You know, we can do that.
Yes. Well, what a gutsy umpiring decision. Now Fitzpatrick taking a week and a half and has to surrender the ball. Good umpiring. Free kick going Essendon's way to Eustace. Eustace into the goal square, knocked away from Van der Haar. Snapshot for goal for the Bombers by Hawker. 1 point. 26 minutes gone, 98-86.
12 points the difference. Waiting now for the ball to come back into play. Well, the Bombers have got a chance. I'd say there's about 4 minutes to go and probably 5 at the most, Peter.
Yes.
That'll see it out. But there's time for rest if they're good enough. But Carlton will be very stiff to lose this game, but since half-time they've been on top. Well, there's a mark dropped by Marquezani. Kicked out by Crow. He's clear now. A hand pass coming over to Watson. He's not moving so well. Gets the ball up there towards the full forward position, but a good mark to Harms. Standing up well, that back line at the moment for Carlton. Harms right down there at the full-back position. Brings the ball back out to the half-back flank position at the back as Hunter flies. Just about marked that one, but finally picked up that time by Schultz. Bahajo and Neil Danaher messed each other up that time. That allowed De Harms to kick the ball back towards centre field. Fowles taps it over nicely to Andrews. Goes for a long kick up there towards that forward line. But there's that defence again. A good mark to English. Still 12 points the difference.
English was the mark. 12 points, 2 goals for a draw would be the best Essendon can hope for. Hawker getting underneath the ball. Fowles goes for the punch and gets it down to Hawker. He plays on. In towards the forward pocket. It's all Carlton. Howard in front. Neil Danaher gets pushed in the back by Dool. And the umpire will come in and decide to ball it up. Time running out for Essendon. 28 minutes gone now in the quarter. Capacity crowd here today for this match. Knocked down by Fitzpatrick. Markazani to Malin. To Wells. Gets caught. Play on. Thompson's there. Schultz calling for it. Terry Danaher. And he takes the mark. 35 or 45 metres out in front of goal. He plays on, maybe foolishly. Nagel, long handball this time to Watson, who shrugs the tackle. Bork, 30 metres out and shoots, but off target. And through for one behind, or is it out of bounds? It's a point, 11 points the difference at the 28.5-minute mark.
Well, the Bombers still attacking, and we wait now for Wayne Harms. Of course, that was a dramatic move just a moment ago when Fitzpatrick took a foot. Well, it took a long time to kick the ball, and umpire Robertson took it off him and gave Essendon a chance to go into attack again. Took a lot of courage by the umpire that time. The ball back there towards Nagel and Sheldon. Punched away by Sheldon. Good play. Back there towards centre field. Nagel going after. Picks it up nicely. He's clear. Gets the ball back there towards the full forward zone. Plenty of Carlton defenders there. Oh, there's nearly a mark. It's Neil Danaher right in front. Goal, if he kicks this, he's already kicked one goal. He's only about 30 metres out. He wouldn't be 30 metres out. You can see the goals there on the screen. He puts this through, it's only 5 points the difference. So it's 5 points the difference now. Oh, the pressure's on them all now. Fitzpatrick's got to get this knockout. He's got most of it today. Bounce back there towards Merritt. Axford's picked up by Watson. It's a smothered kick out there towards the wing position. Coming out to meet it now is Hawker. Overruns the ball. Taps it on. He's got it. And the Bombers back into attack again. Up she goes to Danaher. He's got it. Oh, the Bomber crowd are going mad. He's kicked 2 goals. And he's only about 30 metres out from goal directly in front. And of course, if he kicks this, the Bombers have won it. And what a game this has been. This could be the dress rehearsal for the grand final of 1981 as Neil Danaher comes in for the kick that could possibly win the game. And he's put it through and the Bombers have hit the front. 1 point and 3 goals for Neil Danaher. 15-8-98. And there's Simon Madden going up to his mates and saying, keep going. The siren's nearly there. 14-15-99. What a game. At the 20-minute mark of this quarter, Carlton were 26 points in front, and they've lost the game. Well, I don't say they've lost it, but we're right on the 31-minute mark now, and the siren due to go. There'll be a bit of packing up by the Essendon defence, I should imagine. Oh, no one got that knockout. Knocked out by Nagel. Back there to Fowles. He got one in the back. It'll be no play on as Fowles comes out of the pack. Watson it was. And the ball driven up there towards the full forward position. Danaher coming in. Couldn't hold the mark. Dill comes out of the pack. Gets a kick back towards the centre of the ground. Oh, Crow dropped an easy one. Picked up by Johnson. Andrews going through. Got one in the back. And they'll get a free kick and that could win the game. He's got one boot off. His right boot's up. What a dramatic game as the ball goes back to Danaher again. Battling there with Dill. It's kicked out towards Reid. Reid goes down. They're into his back, he can't get it clear. And what, as we said, Schultz, Thompson gets it out to Watson. He finally boots the ball back over his head, it'll be out of bounds. The Bombers have won their 14th goal in a row. 14-15-99 to Carlton, 15-8-98. Oh, golly, what a game, I'm out of breath. Well, I think I better get my breath back because, it's so exciting. I think it's a day for heart attacks here today. You wouldn't have given them a chance. I'm not kidding. At the 20-minute mark, they were 26 points in front. And it just goes to show you can't coast when you're against a good side like Essendon.
Well, Neil Danaher, you wouldn't have needed to buy a beer that night, would you?
Oh, I still remember walking out of the ground with my brother. We probably went home together. But I remember coming off the ground, I actually dislocated my finger about a minute to go, and I couldn't get it back in, and we didn't have time to have medical, so everyone wanted to shake my hand, but my finger was dislocated, and they wanted to know why I was so grumpy, you know, but I went straight in and they sorted it out. But we just move on to the next game, but unfortunately I done my knee 10 minutes into the next game at Windhill against South Melbourne, and highs and lows of footy.
Highs and lows, David. You would have been in a good mood after that game.
Wasn't particularly, but it was a bit hard, Neil, to work out where we lost. I even went back and read the in retrospect, and I wasn't all that categorically, you know, nasty about the whole thing, because I couldn't even pinpoint the specific. We played so well for so long.
What did you think of the decision by umpire Ian Robinson?
Well, I had a good look at that, and we'd all argue about it. The film doesn't show him being warned at any stage. Fitzy was definitely wasting time, so he could justify making the free kick.
Was he deaf? Was he deaf?
I won't say the other part.
We were telling him to play on.
But it didn't, in the context of the game, it didn't make it. They actually kicked a point from that, and we went down to another shot at goal. So, I mean, while it was significant in a sense, it did change the momentum. I don't think it cost the game, and he was so good on the day. He dominated the ruck for the whole day. So, I was just about to say the only ongoing two terrible dreams I have in my life are the first quarter of the 1993 grand final when they towed us up, and this one here, because in real essence, when you look back over the game, and over a number of times, you cannot see where you could have got beaten in the finish. And I guess in the finish, this bloke, he's done the job on Bruce Dill, which is quite unbelievable.
It was great spirit by the Essendon footy team. You know, one thing that did motivate us was when McClure picked Buckley up and gave him the big bear hug in the middle of the ground, which got him over the line, they thought. And I think there was a strong resolve, even though we're playing at Princess Park then. I think it was called Princess Park.
A bit of arrogance there?
A little bit of arrogance. You've gone a bit early here, boys, and I think the whole team sort of picked that up. Very animated Simon Madden, playing from fullback. And
a bit smug, you reckon?
It was a special win here in front of Jack Elliott and all his mob and all the Carlton faithful. I know that was a bit of a turning point, which has never been spoken about. It's always been the Mike Fitzpatrick reversed. I think what had more to it for our playing point of view was when Bucks, and look, we didn't like Bucks. I think he ripped my brother's head off earlier in the game. There was a couple...
along with a few others.
Yeah. So when he did that, we said, OK, righto, well, let's keep at it, boys.
You won the premiership that year, and then again the next year.
They're a very talented group, Neil. When you think back at that time, Carlton supporters, they won 79, went reasonably close in 80. I inherited the best group of players in the competition. That 4-year period, they were as good as any 4-year periods in my lifetime, the Melbournes, the Brisbanes and so on. They were a very talented group, tall and small, they could run and play. So it might have been, in a sense, a real spur for us to go on and complete what was a remarkable season, and followed up with the second one in 1982.
But for you, the next week was one of the great tragedies of life.
Yeah, no, that's fairly melodramatic. I don't think.
It is.
But for my own career, yeah. Footy was when I walked out of this ground, I said, footy's going okay. I'm 20. A little bit later, they made me captain of the footy club.
You were 20 years of age, yeah.
But we thought that the knee reconstruction was fine. That was very successful. But it was an era where we still weren't sure how long it would take to get back. And everyone knows now it's probably 12 months or a little bit longer. We probably, in hindsight, went too quick. There was a real feel to try and get back in 6 months, and I was very much part of that. If I can get back and play footy, sure. But I broke down again 6 months later out in the training track, and in hindsight, if I'd waited the 12 months or 15 months, I might have been able to go on and play a lot more footy. But that's footy. That was a great memories just watching that last quarter.
How's that knee now?
Fine.
25 yards out, Neil. Could you kick it now?
I kick it over my head backwards.
David, are you on the mark?
Yes, I'm happy to do that.
Let's do it.
I wasn't smiling as much as this because I didn't know I was going to kick it, but now I can smile. Not far out, bit of a wet spot, had to get around it. I wasn't thinking this was an important kick. I never thought I'd miss.
And of course, if he kicks this, the Bombers have won it.
take too long and hopefully kick it through. Come around, baby! We went back and bounced the ball, and luckily the siren went.
Not bad for an old assistant coach, and we can assure you there was no editing. But it's a shame we didn't see more of that Danaher magic before his knee injury cruelly shortened his career. While the Bombers would finish 4th in 81, they were eliminated by Fitzroy in the finals. The Blues are probably thankful they didn't face Essendon again. After taking the minor premiership, they continued on to win the flag, and it was a feat they repeated the following year in 1982. Well, we hope you've enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again soon when we head back in time to relive another epic game. That's next time on Just for Men Footy Flashbacks.